Hi, I'm Jan Harrell. I'm here at Cool Tools Studio in beautiful Jefferson, Wisconsin in some wonderful cool weather also. I'm here to show you what to do with these beautiful new stencils that they have provided and to enamel with them. Let's get started. We're going to start out with some larger format items. This is actually a piece of very thin 28 gauge steel. On each side is a very thin coat of porcelain enamel. And I've cut it out in a square. I also have it in a round piece that I've cut with the disc cutter set. You might have seen that video. I have the last product, which is actually one of Cool Tools' copper blanks that's in a round. I've already counter enameled that piece so we can get to work today. I'm going to move these off to the side and show you how I prepare the metal for all three of these. Of course, we're going to use the wonderful product that I really like to put on anything that is going to have a water-based product on top, and that is a surfactant. I'm only going to use a very small amount, and I'm going to rub it thoroughly into the piece. I like to use a paper towel on this because sometimes the edges of the metal are a little sharp. And to save some time, I'm going to do all three pieces. This metal has been cleaned, the copper has been cleaned, so I've already taken care of that. And be sure and wipe it in and really get that excess off. So, look at these great patterns. And while they may look like something all in one piece, when you break it up into smaller sections, you just have a really good textural area and a design area to work with. I'm going to take the square and I'm going to take some glycerin. And this is just plain old glycerin. And as I say all the time, everything burns out in the kiln at 1400 degrees, so don't worry about adding extra things into the enamel material because it will all become ash when it goes in there. So I'm going to take just a little bit of the glycerin, put it on my piece, and I want to be sure I have coverage everywhere because this is going to be the glue that holds the enamel grains down. You don't want too much, just a thin film coating all the way to the edges. And I can see that that has done a good job. I'm going to take a little bit off because I don't want it real sticky, but just sticky enough. That looks good. I'm going to take a 200 mesh sifter because I'm going to use something, maybe this pattern here, and notice how close that patterning comes. If I used a larger sifter size, the grains would be too big and you wouldn't see the clarity of this pattern. I'm going to put it down on the piece. I'll get my enamel ready, and this is a red because if you've seen my videos, you know I love red. I have a quarter in here, so when the grains fill up the mesh size in the stainless steel mesh, this will dislodge them as they rotate around. And I also like the sound of it moving back and forth. It's very rhythmic. When you put it in your sifter, always be sure to remove the extra around the edge because that's usually the part that falls immediately onto your project. I've taken the handle off of these sifters. I think I've been doing that for so long, I don't know how to do it the other way, so try it my way. I'm going to start sifting. And you want good coverage on this. You also want to think about what you're using on here. I'm using an opaque enamel. A transparent would show up, but it wouldn't be quite the pop that I want out of this piece. So I want a lot of contrast with my background. Then you're going to need some really good tweezers and a steady hand, and sometimes one is easier to come by than the other. So lift up directly, catch the edge of your stencil, and move it over. You do get better. So there's a little area here that didn't sit down quite as well, and this really did a good job. Now, because this has glycerin in it, it doesn't have a lot of moisture, and I can go ahead and fire this directly without waiting for it to dry. So let's see if I can do that 3 more times. So this is our second piece that was cut out with the disc cutter. I will put a little bit of the glycerin on this piece. It's good for your skin, so don't worry about contamination here. And I've moved it right to the edges. I'll pick out another pattern so you can see a little bit of difference between these great stencil patterns that Cool Tools has. I'm going to use the 200 mesh sifter one more time and sift. Now, this could be a very light coat. It could look like a shadow. If you owned a lot of enamels, you could put another coat on here at the same time, but you would contaminate the enamels that are around the edge. So I like to be thrifty with my enamel. I'm probably just going to use the same color, and if I want another color later on, I will put it on. Let's see if I can lift up better. Oh yeah. So this is only the kind of detail you could get with a product that is grabbing the enamel grains and also using the 200 mesh sifter. I love working on copper for several reasons. It's cheap. I own a lot of it, and it gives some warmth to the piece. I like using it directly on, so I will get some crusty little burnt out areas around each place that the enamel stops. So let's see how that works with our little stencils here. Once again, I'm putting the glycerin down, and let's pick another pattern. So maybe this one. When you are using enamel directly on copper, you need to apply a little bit more in quantity than you would if you were just putting it on a pre-enamel surface. It has a tendency to burn out more because there is an enamel body holding it in place. We can't respray anything, so we have to be very careful here and pull up and move it to the side. So every place that the copper is exposed there, we'll get a little bit of a black crunchy line around it, and then we can figure out what we're going to do to that later on. So I'm going to put these in the kiln and fire them, and I'll be back. When I put these pieces of metal in the kiln to fuse the enamel, they're going in for about 2 minutes at 1400 degrees. You'll see the enamel grains turn black usually, and then all of a sudden they look like glassy material. So it's a short firing. Take them out, let them cool, and you're ready to do your next coat. I have fired these pieces in the kiln. They usually take about 2 minutes, and I just want to show you how lovely that patterning becomes when it becomes enamel. Here's the small piece, and then here's the one that is on raw copper with an oxide that we can either choose to clean out or put a transparent on top of to capture that beautiful oxide underneath glass. I'd like to show you a few pieces that I've worked on that use these beautiful templates, and you can see the difference between them. So this is another template that we've used, this particular one, and that's a transparent blue fired on top of the white base. I would add a lot more to this, many, many layers, and it's not nearly done, but that really gives you an idea of what you can get out of the plastic templates. This was a really fun one. I put a opaque in the background, and then I sifted that on, fired it, and put a transparent on top. And I moved the template around just a little bit so you have a play of two different surfaces coming through on the final piece. And this is not done yet. These are all in process and will need some additional embellishments to make them really pop. This is the same template that we used on this particular piece, but after I put the red on, I fired the red and I came back with a transparent orange pink over the top. So it really sets down the color by taking away that white that's in there. It's important to get very good contact with your stencils, and I'd like to show you the difference between them. So this one is perfect. The stencil was right on top of the piece. This one was pulled away just slightly, so it gives you a little bit of a fuzzy edged, I don't know, like you've been drinking at night and you woke up to find your glasses on the counter, and that's about as best as you can see. And then this one was, you might have tripped on something, but you still get an impression in here of a design, but it's not as noticeable that it came from the same source. So a nice way of getting a variety of delineation in your pieces without having to go to a lot of work. And if you like working small, which can be a little compromising for me, this is a beautiful set of small drop earrings that are 3/4 inch. And these have been done with a template. They're counter enameled on the back, and I kept the enamel off of the jump ring here because it's not enough to support enamel over this small in an edge, and I don't want that chipping off. I want people to know that this is a sturdy piece. So I'm going to keep my finger there when I sift the piece on, or at least take it off with a brush before I fire it. I can add more to these pieces, and in upcoming videos you'll probably see some of these projects go a little bit further than they are today. Well, wasn't that fun and easy? I hope you will use some of these products and your wonderful design sense to create some fabulous pieces. Thanks for watching.
Visit our Learning Center at cooltools.us for more cool jewelry making videos. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and be sure to sign up for our email list to be the first to hear about new videos, new products, and other cool stuff from Cool Tools.